Given the choice of playing football in front of millions of screaming fans or dodging bullets from enemy combatants, most people would choose the former, unless they're just crazy. Pat Tillman is an amazing example of courage, patriotism, and selflessness that deserves the utmost honor and recognition. In the next few minutes, I'd like to share with you the inspiring story of how Pat Tillman gave up the American dream to fight for this great country. Pat Tillman's life is a fascinating story. He was born November 6, 1976 in San Jose, California, and was the oldest of 3 brothers. He is described as a deeply caring and protective older brother, the older brother we all wish we could have. As he grew up, he learned that he had an amazing talent for the sport of football. His senior year, he led his team to the Central Coast Section Division I football championship and earned Co-Player of the Year honors. Pat's career was finally starting to take off. He received a full scholarship to Arizona State University, every high school football player's dream. Although undersized at his position, he was considered one of the most dominant players in his division. After leading his team to an undefeated season and a Rose Bowl appearance, Pat was awarded with the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. Pat excelled off the field as well as on the field. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Marketing with a GPA of 3.8. According to Phil Snow, Pat's defensive coordinator at Arizona State, you just don't find guys that have the combination of being as bright and as tough as Pat. Pat's dreams finally came true when he was drafted into the NFL. He was drafted in the 1999 draft, the 7th round by the Arizona Cardinals. But Pat didn't let the fame and fortune go to his head. According to the Pat Tillman Foundation, Pat refused to allow the fame and fortune of being a professional football player affect him. He drove the same old truck as he did in college, one without air conditioning, and refused to be tethered by a cell phone. This is the exact opposite of what we think of when we think of sports stars nowadays, with players like Terrell Owens and Chad Johnson making up nicknames for themselves and coming up with new dances and causing all sorts of controversy. He's the kind of role model that we really need for our kids. Pat was a starting safety, and he broke the Cardinals' single-season tackles record with 224 tackles. But on September 11th, 2001, everything changed for Pat. Terrorists took over planes and crashed them into the Twin Towers in New York City, killing thousands of people. Pat was extremely shaken up by the events of 9/11. Quote from Pat Tillman, he said, "At times like this, you stop and think about how good we have it, what kind of system we live in, and the freedoms we are allowed. A lot of my family has gone and fought in wars, and I really haven't done a darn thing." According to MSNBC, Pat walked away from a $3.8 million contract and went and joined the Army along with his younger brother Kevin, who was an aspiring minor league prospect in baseball. Already in peak physical condition, they enrolled and completed the U.S. Army Ranger Training School. Each of them served tours in Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003, and then they were shipped to Afghanistan in 2004. This is where Pat made his ultimate sacrifice. On April 22nd, 2004, Pat's unit was ambushed in the mountains of eastern Afghanistan. As the firefight went on, Pat was shot and he was killed while providing cover for his fellow soldiers. He gave the ultimate sacrifice. He had everything and gave it all up so that he could fight for our country. Pat Tillman had everything you could ever ask for. He was living the American dream. He had millions of dollars, millions of fans, and an amazing career. But he felt a higher calling than professional football. He refused to stand by and let some cowards from across the world attack our freedoms. Pat sacrificed his career and his life in order to protect our country. Pat Tillman truly is an American hero.
Good speech.
Come on out.